I've worked for about 40 years now. My jobs have been typically global,
Yes.
which means business, employees, customers
Yes.
in 5 continents.
How have you seen the corporate wellness scene evolve across the industry in India over a period of time?
There are perhaps 2 phases that are there so far. First phase was the corporate world came forward and provided better health facilities through group health insurance. Second phase is where new activities or programs related to wellness came into play.
Considering today's health crisis, what do you think is the approach or the definition of wellness that is also evolving for people, specifically in the corporate sector?
I see well-being as a very holistic thing. So I see 5 pillars of well-being: physical health, physical well-being, social well-being, professional well-being, self-reliance.
What would be your recommendation for the young professionals, because they are still having a lot of years in front of them?
Eat seasonal stuff, eat it at right time in right quantity. Don't overeat. Making a habit of the extreme stuff, fried stuff.
Yes.
Once in a while, I think everything works. We don't need to become dogmatic.
One healthy habit you swear by, no matter how busy life gets.
I spend an hour every morning doing pranayam, meditation, sudarshan kriya.
Wow.
Every day.
If you had to choose between 30 minutes of sleep and 30 minutes of exercise, which one would you choose?
I wouldn't choose. I would do both.
Welcome to the Health Unlock Show. I am Masroor Lodi, founder of Unlock.fit. And on the Health Unlock Show, we bring matters of health and how we can resolve those matters and those issues. And to do that, we also bring a number of experts to you. Today, I'm looking forward to the session because we have a very special guest, Aadesh Goyal. Aadesh is the former global CHRO of Tata Communications and has been on the boards of various organizations and has been leading people strategies for many companies. If we remember some of the incidences lately, we have seen that youngsters in India have struggled with cardiac arrests. We have seen people going through a lot of a stressful life and mental challenges. How exactly organizations in particular can deal with those challenges and how exactly they can support their people. That's the major theme for us today. And to throw light on this, we have someone who has dealt with it in deeper details. So we will have Mr. Aadesh Goyal joining us today. So Aadesh, welcome to you to the show.
Thank you very much, Masroor, for inviting me. I think you're doing some wonderful work, bringing health to the fore, well-being to the fore. So looking forward to being a part of your journey.
Great. Thank you so much, Aadesh. I know your introduction is not small, and I also think I wouldn't be able to do the justice. Would you please share some of your introduction aspects so that our viewers would get to know more about you?
Sure. So, I've worked for about 40 years now. My jobs have been typically global,
Yes.
which means business, employees, customers
Yes.
in 5 continents. And I've been lucky to do a variety of roles.
Yes.
My most favorite role is people and HR.
Yes.
I've also done engineering. I've done product management.
Yes.
I've done a lot of work in the area of sustainability. And I also been associated with the Art of Living Foundation for 25 years. I'm currently serving on the board of trustees. I'm a student of happiness and I also a voluntary teacher of happiness programs.
Wow.
So I've been lucky to get a lot of opportunities
Yes.
in my life so far.
No, this is a very diverse set of, I would say, roles that you have had, especially because you have been in corporate world, you have seen the stress that the corporate sector has, but you have also been engaged with, for example, art of living, and for quite some time. It's been a very long stint, as I understand, and you've helped a lot of people through your teachings of happiness. So it's a rare combination that we see in the corporate world. So I think we are going to have a great insight from you today.
I'm looking forward to having a great conversation and learning from the experiences that you have and also from your questions.
Sure, thank you. So let's dive in, friends. Aadesh, my first question to you is, you have had a very long stint of 40 plus years in the corporate world. How have you seen the corporate wellness scene evolve across the industry in India over a period of time?
See, I think there are perhaps two phases that are there so far. I think the first phase was when, because basic health facilities have not been available in India from the state, they have been limited. The corporate world came forward and provided better health facilities through group health insurance.
Yes.
And in addition to that, they provided some type of a financial well-being or
Yes.
protection
Yes.
by going for group accident insurance and group life insurance. So I think that has been there for many years. It has become better over time. I think the second phase is where new activities or programs related to wellness came into play, like having a gym or providing gym membership, etc., etc. Right? And during the pandemic, a third but perhaps fleeting or transient phase was for mental health. So I think companies have done a good job of doing this, but we have major issues today which nobody has really been prepared for. These have come to the fore suddenly, and a lot more innovation is needed on how to deal with it.
Right.
And what is the role the companies have to play for their employees, what is the role society or government has to play, and what is the role each individual has to play. I don't see well-being or health only as a topic of companies doing it for their employees, because that I think is going to be very limited.
Well, I think that's a very thought-provoking input that you've shared, because what you're saying is from being reactive to being more preventative is what the approach has changed essentially. But you have also talked about, the role of each of us. You can't just put a finger on the organization, because eventually it is my health. So I need to be responsible for it. I might be working for any company, but I need to take care of myself. But then you have mentioned about the roles of various other actors overall. So that's where the evolution has happened.
Yeah.
So Aadesh, considering today's health crisis, right? Even though organizations world over, institutions, governments world over have tried to do their best in keeping their citizens and their people really well, we are, marching ahead in what can I call the health crisis theater. So in this scenario, what do you think is the approach or the definition of wellness that is also evolving for people, specifically in the corporate sector?
If you see the focus of health the world over, whether it is government or private sector or even individuals, is how to manage diseases in a very effective and efficient way. There is rarely emphasis on prevention. I think that's where things need to change, right? Well-being is an outcome of years and months of following a certain practice. It's not about treating a disease when it happens, right? Disease can still happen.
Correct.
But well-being is much more than that, right? And our ancient scripture of Ayurveda really talks about that health is not an absence of disease. It is living life in a holistic manner.
Yes.
I think the second thing is I see well-being as a very holistic thing. So I see 5 things, 5 pillars of well-being. I think the first one is physical health. Right? The second one is, I'll call it, say, physical well-being. The second one I would call emotional, psychological, spiritual well-being. The third one I'll call as social well-being, right? The fourth one, I would call it as professional well-being. Right? So these are the four pillars. And the fifth pillar, or you can call it the foundation, needs to be self-reliance.
Correct.
That for these four pillars or four aspects of well-being,
Yes.
I am not dependent on others.
Yes.
I need to take responsibility for it. So the first one, physical well-being, I define it as having good food, having good sleep, and having a good body that can serve the purpose for it is meant for, right? For taking action, for doing stuff that you want to do. The psychological, emotional, and spiritual well-being, I'll define it as happiness. The third one, the social well-being or purpose, is really making a contribution to the society.
Right.
You know, when we do some community service, it really gives us, you know, that sense of connection, and it gives us satisfaction that we made a contribution to the society without looking for anything in return.
Right.
And when you do that, it really impacts your being when you do that
Yes.
on a regular basis.
Yes.
And professional well-being is that you take responsibility for your professional career. With, you know, AI already into play, lots and lots of disruption is going to take place in jobs. Over the next 5-10 years, tens of millions of jobs are going to get disrupted, and tens of millions of jobs are going to get created.
Yes.
And while the creation is expected to be higher than disruption or obsolescence, but it is going to affect the current players.
Correct.
So we need to take responsibility for our own professional journey by continuous learning. You know,
Yes.
I say that 4 hours a week of learning is essential. Like we focus on entertainment, we focus on downtime and vacation. We need to take responsibility for our own learning.
Correct.
And for doing all of this, we must not look at others to fulfill our needs.
Correct.
All of these are easy to do
Yes.
and almost for free.
Yes. Today.
And today, so you know, we need to stop looking
Yes.
at others to take care of our well-being. That's why I call it self-reliance
Yes.
as a part of well-being.
Yes. Brilliant. I think your definition is breaking the narrower definition of well-being that we call wellness, which is restricted mostly to how do you look, right? The fitness piece. But I think your definition is breaking that, because what you are touching upon is much wider definition of well-being. And interestingly, all these 5 pillars, they are not exclusive to themselves. They are interconnected.
Absolutely.
So if, for example, if I talk about the happiness piece, the spirituality piece, or the piece which you talked about, contributing back to the society in some way, it is going to spark positive emotions for me, inside me, which is again going to have positive feelings. So if I'm someone who is depressed, this is going to work for me.
Exactly.
So all these 5 pillars that you talked about are so interconnected, but we only restrict ourselves to a very limited view of being fit or eating fit stuff or good stuff. Considering India being one of the most or least active countries, this definition is going to be a challenging one for us to adopt as a country. What would be your recommendation for the young professionals, because they are still having a lot of years in front of them? What would be your recommendation to them as young professionals?
See, actually, it is quite a simple thing if you really look at, right? For example, let's just take physical well-being, right, or the health. If you know, there's an old saying in India that you become what you eat.
You become what
You know, jaisa an vaisa man.
Right.
So we need to eat the right things, right? And the way I'll define the right things is, for people of my age, if you look at what their grandparents were eating and cooking and how they were doing it, and for the youngsters, maybe their great-grandparents, they may not have met them, so they'll have to do a bit of research by talking to their grandparents.
Yes.
I think if we just follow those simple things, eat seasonal stuff, eat it at right time in right quantity, and don't overeat,
Don't over.
right? And avoid making a habit of the extreme stuff,
Yes.
which is packaged food, ready-made food, fried stuff.
Yes.
Once in a while, I think everything works. We don't need to become dogmatic.
Correct.
But most of what we do needs to be in the right balance, right?
Correct.
And the second thing is about sleeping. Most people, especially youngsters, don't have good sleeping habits.
Correct.
They tend to, sleep very late,
Yeah.
wake up late then,
Yeah.
or if they wake up early, then they're not fully rested.
Yes.
And sleep is not just rest. If you look at the science of why sleep happens, it really affects your whole physiological, mental, neurological growth and rejuvenation.
Yes.
So we must pay attention to it. So sleep, and have a regular, disciplined sleeping habit. Right, fixed time for sleeping, fixed time for waking up, or whatever that might be. And the third is really some exercise. Right,
Yes.
now, I would say any light, regular exercise is good. If you can't do anything else, walk a few thousand steps, and preferably in the nature. Even if there's a few trees,
Yes.
that is good enough.
Yes.
So I would say it's a simple thing to adopt,
Correct.
but one has to do it consistently.
Correct.
And if you look at, say, the psychological health, the emotional health, the spiritual health, I'd call it happiness. And like we have all heard the word stress, and everybody experienced it. People talk about it today much more often than
Yes. Earlier.
we saw our grandparents. I never heard them talking about
Yes.
stress at all. Right?
Yes.
So when there is stress, there can't be happiness.
Yes.
So we need to understand, where does stress come from. So stress is an artificial thing. It is primarily generated by negative emotions, and negative emotions are related to the past. Things that have already happened, but they look real to us. Somebody got angry at us, and then we are still feeling angry about it, or depressed about it, or we made a mistake, hurt somebody, and we are feeling the guilt. Or it's about the future. Is this going to happen? That's going to happen. Will I get a good raise? I hope my job does not get cut, or my son or daughter gets the right admission in college, or whatever. Those things are yet to come, but they also generate negative emotions. So by learning to meditate and doing breathing exercises,
Yes.
we can get freed from past, which has already happened, you can't change,
Yes.
and future, which is not here yet,
Yes.
and increase our ability to deal with these negative emotions that come because of
Yes.
foraying into the past and the future.
Yes.
That's the nature of our mind.
Yes.
And once you learn this, then you automatically reduce stress in your life. Right? And similarly, about, like, I already talked about learning, right? And I talked about social contribution.
Correct.
So I think these are actually very simple things to do.
Yes.
And if we are looking for a good life, that means good health, good well-being. That's the wealth.
Yes.
As the old saying goes, health is wealth.
Health is wealth.
Then I think we need to work towards it.
Correct.
Right? Just like we have incorporated brushing our teeth in the morning, or taking a shower before we start our day, I think we need to adopt some breathing exercises, meditation as a part of our daily routine.
Right. Yes.
And it can be, life-changing.
And I think that's where the challenge is. If you really see today, you talked about what you are consuming. If we move into the corporate sector, you see what corporate sector? I mean, if you go even in the hospitals where we're talking about health, well-being, it is all packaged food, right? Even though hospitals are meant to take care of the health, they are actually propagating in some way, the wrong choices of what you would like to eat. Similarly, it is the case with corporate sector. Even in schools, let's say, our kids are being given in the school canteens all the packaged food, which is, of course, we can't avoid it, but we should take as much care as possible. That's where we should begin. You talked about sleep. We at Unlock.fit receive a number of users who are struggling with stress, and all of these that you talked about, they all are interconnected again. Sleep, poor eating habits, stress, they lead to a number of issues which wouldn't be there in the first place if you fix all these things. But it's so difficult because, our clients say, I have a meeting till late in the night, and then early morning I have to catch a flight to the next city. We are living in a time where professionals are being tested physically, mentally, emotionally, and whatnot, and we make our efforts through shows like the Health Unlock show, by bringing information and insights. But at the end of the day, it is the individual and it is the system in which they live which need to be fixed, isn't it? So thanks for those thoughts. I'll now move, Aadesh, to something which has been your role. You've been sitting on the boards where the decisions are taken, the approach is taken as far as work is concerned, workplaces are concerned. How have you seen this evolve, the approach of boards towards well-being of employees? Is it still seen as a cost or now being seen as investment? How exactly things have evolved there?
I think that's a very important question, and I don't think there are any clear answers as far as I know. Obviously, if one takes the point that employees and people are the biggest asset of the company, then it implies that companies need to do whatever they can, and there's no limit to what they need to do. But that's not how it really works in real life or practically. Right? So I think companies have done a good job of providing basic health protection and facilities. And many forward-looking companies have also started providing enablement help related to mental well-being. But there's a limit to what companies can do. So for example, I'm not saying that it can't be done, but it's not an easy problem to solve. A lot more innovation is needed there. Take healthcare, for example. If you take countries where the state has a good health system, say Canada, UK, Europe, the companies there do not provide healthcare insurance because there is no need. Right? Similar thing happens for accident insurance or life insurance because they're all part of the regular system, right? You're contributing towards it to a national type of a fund or a plan, and if something happens, then you become a beneficiary. But in countries where this does not happen, companies have come and created these plans. Right? Now, I think the same thing needs to be done by the current challenges that the well-being challenges that we're facing today. Right? So I think I would say they are all related to stress, they are related to burnout, and they are related to loneliness and mental health. For example, according to WHO, every one person out of 6 is suffering from loneliness.
Oh my God.
If you look at the last 2 decades, the number of people who are feeling lonely has increased from 10% to 25% in US and Europe. If you look at India, 10% of the adolescents and 25% of the adults report being loneliness, suffering from loneliness. Now, if you just take loneliness as an example, right, and loneliness needs to stress. It needs to, like you were saying, everything is interconnected. It takes a lot of diseases come as a part of that, right, and could even result in depression, if it becomes really bad. Now, what can companies do about loneliness, right? What I would say that the way to address loneliness is for companies to champion and create amazing, regular, sustained attractive volunteering programs related to corporate social responsibility, community service, sustainability, and get employees to participate in that, and even invite employees to participate in that. And once you do that on a regular basis and make it like a culture of the company, that this is who we are, then you are creating a scenario which is an antidote of loneliness.
Yes.
Right? When people work together, then there's a chances of friendships and relationships forming. Relationships, do not usually form just through work. Non-work activity leads to doing that, right? So many companies have done work in this area. About 10 years ago, when I was at Tata Communications, we started what we used to call as Drive Week.
Right.
Drive is the culture, and expression of culture was the week, where every employee would get 1 day paid day off to do volunteering once a year.
Of their choice.
Of their choice, but most people don't know what to do, right?
Correct.
So
you need to.
We, in all 40 countries where we had employees, we would create, in every city where our employees were, we would create a volunteering opportunity.
Wow.
Right? And then we would also do it throughout the year.
Correct.
Right? And then more and more, and in the later years, we also started bringing asking the employees to come with their families. Right? So it helps you to become a part of a bigger picture.
Yes.
Rather than feeling alone.
Yes.
Right? And so I think there are programs like that that the companies can do.
Yes.
Where companies can be catalysts and enablers. But ultimately, individuals need to come forward and participate in that.
Absolutely.
Nobody can really, wave a magic wand.
Correct.
And really make it happen.
Correct. I'll pause here because I would like to invite all the HR leaders and the CEOs who are going to take care of the culture, because as I read somewhere, culture and strategy, these are two things that CEOs cannot delegate to anyone. I mean, the CEOs can delegate every other piece of their job, maybe, but culture and the strategy of the company, they can't delegate. And what you just mentioned about the loneliness and the ways to tackle it, it actually sits both in strategy as well as culture of the company, because you are redefining the culture, how exactly people look at the company when they go to their organization. And what you've touched upon is amazingly important, because as we say, bheed mein akele hain. And that's what we are facing as people in corporate sector especially. Of course, it's widespread in society maybe, but specifically in corporate sector because of various reasons, and culture plays an amazingly important role. For HR leaders and the CEOs, this is an important point. How can you make your people lose this feeling of loneliness? One of the examples that we've just seen is how can we create opportunities for them to contribute meaningfully beyond the organizational objectives. And that's an amazing example that you have shared. And I think, there are many companies, I worked with some, where we got those opportunities. People were given off, people were given trainings also. Before they could jump into some volunteering activity, they might needed to go through certain training program, development program, and people were extremely positive about it. I remember something from my college time, and this is a very personal example I would like to share here. All of us at some point in time would feel down, right? Same used to happen with me also when I used to feel a bit down during my college time. So I had a very small trick that always worked. And what I used to do is, the moment I used to feel low, I would take out my bike and would stand somewhere on the road and would try to give lifts to others. So once you are on the campus, there would be people who would seek lift, and I would say, okay. And they would say, where are you going? And in return, I will ask, where are you going? So the person would tell me the destination, I would say, oh, I'm going that side only. I would pick this guy and take them to their destination. I would do it 2 or 3 times and I'm all set.
Yeah.
My spirits are high because I have contributed back to something larger than what directly relates to me. And this is something that you have also touched upon. There are ways in which organizations are doing it already. So thanks for that. But for CEOs and our HR leaders, this is an example of how you can set the culture right and help your employees move out of loneliness. It's a poison, actually.
Yeah.
And I remember we work with a number of corporates, Aadesh. We are not directly in the loneliness space. We are in the nutrition space and fitness space. But of course, it eventually ties to the loneliness also. A number of users, when they speak to our nutritionists, you would not believe, majority of them would also touch upon their psychological challenges. Their emotional challenges, which are in a way cut professional settings, if you say, wouldn't be within the ambit of our work. But this is where we have trained our nutritionists to be good listener. They listen. They can't give any advice, but the moment a person has explained their challenges, they feel at ease.
True.
There has been someone who has listened to me. And this is something, majority of our users do that. So apart from nutrition and fitness advice based on their DNA makeup and all that stuff and blood markers, we are someone who are also dealing with the loneliness piece. So that's so crucial.
Yeah. No, what you're saying, ties well with the data that's available, right? And in the last 5-10 years, maybe 20 years, a very, very large number of scientific studies that have been done about the power of pranayam, breathing, and meditation on health at neurological level, emotional level, physical level, physiological level, and all the issues that we're talking about, right? Emotional resilience, stress, loneliness, and many, many more, including high blood pressure, cardiac disease. By regular use of meditation, all of these get substantially addressed. Although meditation is a very, very old technique and science in India, thousands of years old. But a lot of times what's been grown in your backyard, you don't value it. But now we have scientific, evidence available, and I would encourage everybody, if whether you're a believer or not, to just Google and say benefits of meditation, scientific research.
Super.
And you will find, hundreds of hits of research done by scientists all around the world. So, 20 minutes of meditation a day can be a total life changer for you, not just for the purpose of well-being, but it builds emotional resilience. It builds your spirit, and it will actually amplify your performance.
Yes, it does.
That's been my personal experience as well.
Wow. So Aadesh, एक जो major issue we see in the corporate sector, especially at the senior leadership level, the poor eating habits, and also the irregular schedules, because they're extremely busy people, right? I'm sure you would have seen a number of sad tragedies at that level. What do you think you would have tried to do something to help at that level, or some examples if you could quote, because this podcast is being listened to by people at that level. How can we help them, going through this challenge? Because the demand is so high on their schedule, on their work. So what exactly is your advice to them?
See, I think in my professional career, I've done what I used to call work-life balance workshop. Typically would last only an hour, sometimes even 30 minutes. and for people who are very busy, even in 15 minutes. And I used to meet at least 1,000 employees a year, every year around the world. And work-life balance was a recurring theme. So for for about 25 years, I did an experiment.
Wow.
Experiment may be a big word, but okay, still an
You
experiment.
had an observation of it.
Yeah, and it just one day occurred to me after many people raised this. I said, okay, you're raising this issue. It's an important issue. If it is important to you, you send me an email 3 days later, and then I'm going to do a one-on-one session with you because I don't feel
Right.
a lack of balance in my life. I'll share with you how to do it. And you'd be shocked, out of maybe 2,000 or 3,000 people with whom this happened, maybe 5 reached out to me.
Okay.
Right? So it's a concern for a lot of people, but it's not a problem that they want to truly solve. So it's a bit of a paradox. Right? They're suffering from it. They think about it from time to time, but it's not a problem they want to solve. I also worked in the corporate world. I did multiple global roles at the same time for multiple functions. I had a team of more than 1,000 people.
Wow.
And I rarely felt that I did not have balance in my life. So people who say that they have very long hours, they don't get time for this, time for that, they can't eat in time, I think they're simply running a marathon. They are on the treadmill. They are just not wanting to or afraid to do anything different, that what's going to happen if they stop doing it. I know so many people who don't even take leaves because who will do work at the office. So I think work-life balance is a personal priority. Your organization can help you enable it, but there is general sexiness about talking about long hours. I don't have time, and this is valued by a large number of people, including by many leaders and managers.
Right.
And I think this needs to be stopped. Entrepreneurs who have decided to do something and build something out of thin air, they have to be a little bit mad to be able to do that. And because to create something that doesn't exist requires you to go that extra thing, right? I'm speaking of madness in a positive way. But for everybody else, they don't need to do that, right? And I think you need to choose your own life. You have to be able to establish boundaries, and there are ways to do that without shaking the system, right?
Yes.
So I think that's one. Secondly, I think companies need to do a better job of building an environment which encourages people or supports people to build certain personal boundaries, right? And in some countries, the law has done it. For example, in Germany, you cannot deliver an email to an employee beyond the work hours or on weekends, right? Your email server has to wait till the next day when it becomes the working time.
Right.
So I think all round work is needed in this area. But if you're an individual, it doesn't matter at what level and what age, it is foolish to wait for the system to become better. Our life on this planet Earth is limited.
Yes.
I think we need to take an action now and not depend on anybody. And it is possible to do it. And like anybody who listens to this conversation, they can reach out to me directly or through you on LinkedIn, and I'll be happy to talk to them one-on-one on how to deal with it.
I think I would like to re-emphasize what you just mentioned, because a lot of time we put the blame outside or on external factors. So my health is my responsibility, and I think I certainly believe in this because it's my health. If somebody else, or let's say organization, is taking care of it, there would be a reason. But for me, it's my personal priority.
Exactly.
And if I don't take care of it, no system can work for me.
Absolutely.
So you have given two solutions in a way to it. One is people will directly need to take charge of their health, no doubt about it. But at the same time, you said organizations need to give that space, build that culture. And I think that's extremely important because I'm just referring to a very different example now. I've seen multiple schools. I wouldn't name them, but in one school I saw students while going to the school, I could see a lot of stress on kids because they are getting late or whatever. But I've seen another school in the same city where I saw calmness on the faces of students. And it has shaped their personalities over a period of time. So students in this school would become more disciplined maybe, but then they are not at peace as much as the students from other school, where there is calmness. You could feel it in the environment. You can feel it. And so has been the case with a number of organizations. I've worked with multiple organizations, advised many in my capacity as a consultant previously. I could clearly sense in the air you would find peace or you would find noise, which is disturbing. And which is where, again, I'm coming back to the culture piece, responsibility of the CEOs, of building that culture, giving that space. You need to provide that space. Now it is up to us as individual members of that organization, whether we take advantage of that system or that culture or not. So that's an amazing example that you again said, very powerful. But what you also meant in response to my previous question, Aadesh, is that well-being is not just physical. Work-life balance is not just physical thing like I have these many hours, blah, blah, blah. But it is also about my mental state. How exactly I am dealing with this stress. Am I reacting to it or am I responding to it? And we see this at play at the workplace, that some people in the same environment with the same level of challenges would be able to deal with it so well, so calmly, whereas others struggle. Any practical advice you would like to give us to deal with stress? Because you can't remove stress. It is not going to go away anytime soon. But then are we trained enough, or do we have enough tools in our kit to deal with it? So any practical advice or tip that you would like to give us?
I'll say two things here. One is there's a very famous book by Dr. Viktor Frankl, very well known psychologist who was in the Nazi camps and survived.
Absolutely.
And like if somebody who was there for years and years in a Nazi camp and survived
My God.
and became such a big, well-known psychologist, read his book. What it really means is you always have a choice.
Yes.
Doesn't matter what the
Yes.
situation you might be in. Right? I think the second thing is we just simple breathing with awareness and meditation really helps you to build. It does not just give you calmness in that moment, but the regular practice works at all different levels, neurological, physiological, physical, emotional, mental level. And the stress in your life reduces. But one has to try it.
Yes.
You cannot read a book about this and become intelligent. Right?
Correct.
For example, you can read anything about swimming for hours and hours, but you won't be able to swim when you go to the pool. This is one such thing. Or the same thing about, say, playing guitar or any other musical instruments or playing any sports. You can't read about it in the books and become good at it. For that, you have to go to a teacher and learn and then practice. So happiness is the antonym of stress, right? When there is happiness, there can't be stress. When there is stress, there can't be happiness. Right? So it's one or the other. And happiness is a skill that you can learn.
Wow.
And skill means you have to practice.
Yes.
Practice, and then you have to get a teacher. It's a simple thing. So I would say, just do it. Try it. Try it for a few weeks. And it's just a few minutes every day. And you'll start seeing that the stress has kind of left you. It's around you, but not impacting you.
I remember once I was invited to speak on how to make people happy in the corporate setting. And honestly, you can talk for 24 hours on that, how to make people happy. For example, there was a time long back when I remember when we had this call center boom in India. Then one of the aspects that companies used to leverage was giving movie tickets to couples and this and that. And the idea was happiness and engagement and all that stuff. But I said, how do you make people successful? Because if you make them successful, then they would feel happy within the ambit of corporate settings I'm talking about. And which means you have to create an environment as an organization, give them tools where they are able to perform better, which means that would lead to their success, etc., and they will feel happy. But what you are here saying is, it is beyond all of that. It again comes back to me as an individual. And if I want stress to be out from my life, I need to allow happiness to come in. And if I don't allow that happiness to come in, and as you mentioned, it is skill, and you have very kindly also offered to help anyone who would like to talk to you. And I would tell this to my audience here, feel free to reach out to Aadesh. He's been one kind soul that I have come across who has always been very positive, very open, and very helpful. I've seen a lot of help coming from his side to us. And in that sense, please reach out to him through his LinkedIn. He is available. He could certainly help.
Absolutely, absolutely. And see, the one thing that you just mentioned is that when people are successful, that they're going to be happy. So look around you. Almost everybody that you know is successful. But if you ask them, are you happy? What are they going to say?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So I think success is nothing to do with happiness.
Right.
You have to be happy. You have to learn how to be happy.
Yes.
And that itself is a success in a way. But these are two kind of independent things. And you need to work on both.
Correct.
Just success does not mean happiness. That's what many people realize after 10, 20, 30, 40 years of...
After they have become successful.
After they become successful, that, are you happy?
Yes, great. Very good. I think, Aadesh, this has been a great discussion. I know we can go on and learn from you and your experiences. I have one very important topic to touch upon, especially given that you talked about AI, given the level of uncertainty we have in the workplace today, be it related to jobs, careers, related to skills, because, earlier you would learn one skill and it will take you for at least 10 years or so. I think that definition is changing very fast. But at the same time, we have people who are having a lot of ambition. They want to go out, do so well in their careers and become so-called successful, as you mentioned. But they are to be guided also. Any thought for these ambitious people who are choosing a path which is going to be very busy, which is going to be, bringing a lot of, I would say, materialistic or worldly benefits to them, no doubt about it. And there is no harm in having ambition. It is actually a fuel for growth, for individuals, for societies, for countries. So that's very good. Any input that you would like to give to these ambitious people?
I think having an ambition and dreams is actually a good thing because you want to certainly achieve something. But one needs to ask two questions. Is the ambition becoming a weight on your head and shoulders and mind and body? And is it making you stressed? Because if it is, then it's going to become hard for you to achieve your ambition. Right? The second is, ambitions are usually big. That means they are a little bit longer term. The example that comes to my mind is like running a marathon. When you run a marathon, you need to have a good system. You need to have the capacity and capability to run a marathon. So the bigger ambition you have, you have to build the appropriate capability and capacity in yourself so that you can actually become successful in getting to that ambition. And that really comes back to the 5 pillars of health.
Yes.
The physical health, the emotional, psychological, spiritual health.
Yes.
It comes to purpose,
Yes.
social, connecting to society. It comes to skills, that you are learning continuously. And the fifth is you're not dependent on anybody. You're not blaming anybody. You take responsibility for your own being.
Yes.
That's really what, the better capacity and capability have, the higher chance that you're going to realize your ambitions.
So for me, the key takeaway from this is, Aadesh, there's no harm in having ambition. We must have. That's a fuel for all of us, for humanity. But bigger the ambition, the bigger preparedness is to be done. And which is where the health of an individual becomes the cornerstone. Because if I don't think I would have seen leaders, successful leaders, who are unhealthy also at the same time. It can't sustain that way. So very good. I think that's a very timely advice for our audience. Thank you so much. For me in person, so thanks, Aadesh. I have something very interesting now. That's called rapid fire. That's a feature that we have very recently introduced in our show, and that again ties back to the well-being only. So I have some questions for you. It is going to be rapid fire, so please bear with me.
Yes.
So I have first question for you. One healthy habit you swear by, no matter how busy life gets.
I spend an hour every morning doing pranayam, meditation, sudarshan kriya.
Wow.
Every day.
Wow. Without
and
fail.
I've been doing it for 25 years now.
Wow. We now know the reason and the overall reason why Aadesh is so happy. So thanks for sharing this. The second question is the one wellness fad that you think is completely overrated.
I think this idea that taking supplements is a replacement for having a nutritious diet and food, I think is totally misleading.
Yes.
And I think it doesn't work, in my opinion.
Correct. Thank you. If you had to choose between 30 minutes of sleep and 30 minutes of exercise, which one would you choose?
I wouldn't choose. I would do both. Build your routine and discipline that you are getting enough sleep and you are getting enough exercise. On a particular day, you might not be able to do both, but 80-90% of the time, you should be able to do both. I wouldn't choose.
Sleep and exercise both.
Yes.
Wonderful. That's a good input for all of us. A book, podcast, or a movie that changed your view about health and leadership?
See, there are lots and lots of things, but two things come to my mind, and I'll say them in a chronological way. In 1994, I got a chance to do a 3-day workshop on the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Wow.
And there are a couple of things in that. One was about, this myth of time management, that it is actually really prioritizing, right? And the habits. The other one was related to sharpen your saw.
Yes.
I think those two somehow went into my head, and I really took them up, and
Right.
it was life changing in many ways. And then in the year 2000, I by chance and just out of curiosity, I landed up doing Aadesh Living's Happiness and Wellbeing course. And the teacher said, I loved it, and the teacher said that you need to now practice for 40 days, And I really loved it, so I kept on practicing it, and the teacher was amazing, so I must follow whatever the teacher said.
Yes.
And then it just, I never left it.
Right.
And that has been truly life-changing for me.
Yes.
So those are two things that I'd like to really mention.
Well, thank you. And I think on sharpening the saw, I mean, while you already touched upon it by way of saying be a continuous learner for the rest of your life. Learning is important, not just for keeping yourself busy as a professional, but also it has implications. For example, studies after studies have proven if you keep your brain busy in learning, you will keep a number of diseases away from you. So, I mean, it's not just about, being more intelligent or wiser in the professional setting. If you do the sharpening the saw skill of the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, but it is going to have implications for your health also.
Absolutely.
And again, you have a couple of times already talked about having a mentor or a teacher in your life. And I think this is again a very powerful message. In our busy schedule or in our own way of thinking, we at times ignore this advice of having a mentor. I think, I remember I have multiple mentors, honestly, who have always been very, very helpful. The one thing that I always benefited is I could reach out to them anytime. So there's no hesitation, right? If I need some help, I would reach out to them anytime. Plus, it is very informal in the sense that I can open myself up in front of them without feeling that they are going to have any judgment on me or views on me, and they would be willing to support and help. And that's part of our development. And I think in the corporate sector, in otherwise also in any sector, but in the corporate world, we need more of this kind of input. So thanks for that. I have one last question for rapid fire, and that's about one quick healthy meal that you would recommend that anyone who is extremely busy can make in 10 minutes and enjoy.
See, you can get good quality batter these days which do not have preservatives. And in 10 minutes, you can make idlis.
Wow.
Right? And is one of my favorite foods, healthy and nutritious both. And the second thing is, develop a habit of making bean sprouts at home. And, sprouted beans with tomato and cucumber and onion if you like to add. With some salt and kala namak is a very easy meal to make and also nutritious.
Superb. For me, one of the quick things is, when you talked about batter, is besan chila. I mean, that's quick and it takes care of certain amount of protein also for you. Because you talked about, supplements are supplements, no doubt they would support your journey at certain stage. But then you need to have nutritious food going in you. You can't say I will eat junk and then to have nutrition, I will go for supplement. It's not that way actually. So great. Aadesh, wonderful. Thank you so much for coming here and sharing your insights. It's been an amazing session, one session that I will always remember for the rest of my life. So thank you for your inputs. I'm sure the audience here would love to take, there have been not one or two, but many takeaways for us, for HR leaders, for CEOs, for organizational leaderships. You know what exactly and how exactly you can help your people. And people in corporate sector, that it is you who has to take care of yourself. Organizations will certainly do their job, but then they can only offer you an opportunity. But whether you take advantage of that opportunity or not is up to us. So with this, I would like to thank you, Aadesh. Lovely having you here, and we look forward to your continuous pearls of wisdom on LinkedIn.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me, Masroor, and always fun to talk to you. Usually on video.
Yes.
We have only met 2 times, but
Yes.
I think you're doing really important work in the area of health. And my best wishes to you.
Thank you so much.